Science fiction has gifted the world with some of the best characters in film history. In this gallery, we look at characters who have defined the sci-fi genre and continue to be fan favorites across the board. Intrigued? Click on to find out more. Played by Keanu Reeves, Neo in The Matrix trilogy starts out as Thomas Anderson, unaware he is destined to be the one to bring peace to humanity in a computer-simulated world. In the 2005 film, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Marvin the paranoid android had such a big brain and strong AI that he just felt too much. The dark humor of a depressed robot having an existential crisis was impeccably portrayed by the late Alan Rickman. In the Blade Runner films, Roy Batty, model number N6MAA10816, was the leader of a renegade group. His unforgettable demise came about in a fight against Rick Deckard. He was played by the late Rutger Hauer. Patrick Stewart in Star Trek as Jean-Luc Picard, captain of the USS Enterprise D, is the epitome of regal, in the sci-fi sense. The main character and creature of the Alien saga is absolutely petrifying. Both the visual effects and the concept of Xenomorph XX-121 will always scar and amaze those who watch Alien. A synthetic life form with AI, Data is incredibly intelligent but lacks human behavioral understanding. He was picked up by the Starship Enterprise and became a part of the crew. He is played by Brent Spiner throughout the Star Trek saga. Star Wars saga alumni, Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, was the protagonist in the original film trilogy. As main figure in the Rebel Alliance, he trained in the Force and became a Jedi Knight. In 1927, Metropolis portrayed a futuristic city with a class divide. Maria, a human-turned-robot played by Bridget Helm, 1908 to 1996, is distinct for being way ahead of its time. You may also like. One of the cutest and kindest of all the sci-fi characters would have to be E.T. A tiny Drew Barrymore and her siblings attempt to help the weird little alien to escape Earth and get back home. Immortan Joe's best enforcer, commander of his war rig, and a fierce warrior, Furiosa, played by Charlize Theron in Mad Max, Fury Road, is commissioned with returning escaped women to her oppressive master. Instead, she heads a biblical race against all of his warriors to lead the ladies to their freedom. Arnold Schwarzenegger's role in Terminator 2 as the T-800 portrays the rare, terrifying and heartwarming role of a killer robot learning human emotion, but realizing he can never have it himself. Stemming from the series Firefly, Nathan Fillion's role as Malcolm Reynolds in Serenity is iconic as one of sci-fi's most lovable rogues. The Day the Earth Stood Still of 1951 was revolutionary in its day. In contradiction to H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds, this film depicts an alien attempting to teach Earth to reduce warfare. The pacifist alien was called Klaatu, and was played by Michael Rennie, 1909 to 1971. Sarah Connor from the Terminator films starts innocent and turns into a hardcore warrior. The role was played by Linda Hamilton. After genetically superior Khan was marooned by Captain Kirk 15 years prior, he was keen to get his hands on the USS Enterprise in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Played by the late Ricardo Montalban, pictured, Khan was a threat to the starship and a battle ensued, with Khan eventually losing to Kirk's experience with the Enterprise. Throughout the Back to the Future trilogy, this unlikely duo, Marty, a cool teenager of the 80s, and Doc, a brilliant, over-caffeinated professor, travel back and forth in time trying to correct the errors of Marty's first time-traveling goal of graduating and getting the girl. The roles were played by Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, respectively. Harrison Ford makes it onto this list for his role in Blade Runner. Playing Rick Deckard, based in the future, he is a working man who hunts illegal replicates across cyberpunk Los Angeles. Star Wars saga's Boba Fett, portrayed by the late Jeremy Bulloch, was supposed to be one of the most dangerous men in the galaxy, ready to get brutal at a moment's notice. He known for saying very little and for his distinct T-shaped visor. The Mad Max saga is a heck of a ride, and in this apocalyptic landscape, loner Max Rokitansky knows exactly how to play rough. The main character was played by Mel Gibson in the original trilogy, and then by Tom Hardy in the recent Mad Max: Fury Road. RoboCop is one of those sci-fi movies that was inevitable. A secret organization gives a man a second chance at life by rebuilding him as a robot. But not just any robot, Alex Murphy became RoboCop, programmed to fight crime. This story follows RoboCop as his memories begin to resurface and his human side wants revenge. The role was played by Peter Weller, 1987, and later Joel Kinnaman, 2014. Played by William Shatner, the captain of the Starship Enterprise of Star Trek, Captain James T. Kirk was the charming, charismatic leader of the crew. Silent Savior, R2-D2 of the Star Wars saga, always manages to steer everyone back on track at least once in every film. This robotic hero was both played by Kenny Baker, 1934 to 2016, and Jimmy V. HAL 9000 in 2001, A Space Odyssey, was decades ahead of its time. Sci-fi during this time focused on aliens and atomic weapons, but a sentient computer villain was far from everyone's minds until Douglas Rain, 1928 to 2018, voiced the terrifying AI system. Guardians of the Galaxy power duo Rocket, an anthropomorphic raccoon, and Groot, a tree-like being with limited language, were an odd pairing of outcasts that got the job done, with some comedy along the way. Groot was voiced by Vin Diesel, and Rocket was voiced by Bradley Cooper, with motion action by Sean Gunn. The Star Wars saga is full of highly memorable characters, but Yoda was the mentor that proved that with patience and failure comes greatness. Puppeteer and voice actor Frank Oz portrayed the original Yoda. Throughout the Alien saga, Sigourney Weaver's portrayal of Ellen Ripley was incredible. However, the character herself was the definition of a bad *** hero. Played by Harrison Ford, Han Solo of the Star Wars saga became the lovable rogue that everyone wished they could be. With the exception of his friend Chewbacca, the loner and smuggler only looked out for himself. Legendary Star Trek character Spock, of mixed human and Vulcan descent, serves aboard the Starship Enterprise, and was known for his look and his interesting demeanor. First played by iconic Leonard Nimoy, 1931 to 2015, in the original series and films, Spock was later played by Zachary Quinto. From the first film, Darth Vader has always been a fan favorite in the Star Wars saga. His attire, his voice, and his battle with the dark and light captivate fans of any age. See also, 30 most influential American sci-fi writers.